All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are doing good. And I just realized I have a headpiece in for some reason because I was listening to a video. All right. Can you all hear me? Let's make sure you all can. Yoo-hoo! Um, all right. Let's see here. Creator, welcome. Rendini, welcome. Loveless, good to see you. Immortal, good to see you. Um, I've had a busy week. So some of you actually know that we are doing a members only live stream now on Wednesdays at 4 as well. We had a pretty good turnout for our first one. So if you're a supporter of the channel or if you've considered being a supporter and you want to join us on those, come on over there. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great questions, and we're looking for that turnout to grow some more. So that's always going to be a good one. Maria, good to see you. Is that Gree or Gray? Welcome. Um, we're doing good on meeting our supporter community goal. We're trying to reach 50 supporters, if you don't know. And again, if you're interested, go to our locals channel, which you can find at workingdragonmystic.com. You'll see Working Dragon Mystic Community tab. Click that, go over there. We're also going to start doing live workshops, the first of which is going to be focused on the arcane senses. Then we're going to do a wards one. And then we got a multi-part wards one coming up that's going to be for supporters. Here's the thing, though. It's also going to be allowed that you can sign up for the individual workshops. If you want, if you're not a supporter, you can still sign up. It will cost. For supporters, there's no additional cost. You just automatically jump into it. And you'll also be able to catch a replay of it. I think the replay is going to be up for 1 to 2 weeks after the workshops, just so you know. So if you haven't gone over to the locals community, do so because we've got a lot of great stuff coming out there. There is public content, but there's also a lot of supporter only content that's being dropped over there. So that's going to be a cool one. Also, I'm considering, bear with me here, and I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. On my Tuesday videos, in order to try to save some time in my life, and actually potentially connect with you all on a little bit better basis, I was considering starting to do the standard Tuesday videos live whenever I could. Maybe not all the time, but do more of them live so that if you can catch it, you could ask questions on it there after I finish the main presentation. That's an idea I'm kicking around. I'd love your all's feedback and thoughts on that. So there we go. Rendani asks Drake, what do you think about old grimoires like Grimoire of Venom or Limigidan? Well, Verum specifically, it's old grimoires are incomplete books. They were never meant to be a complete book. They are notations for someone who knows what they're doing, and those notations leave out the meat and core of the system. They actually were not meant to truly be full start to finish books. They were not. And many of these grimoires, especially Verum, is one of the ones that there's been a lot of scholars that's debunked these as not as old as they claim. Um, where do I stand on them? I mean, I've tinkered with them from time to time and I've gotten some results. How authentic are they? I really don't know. I've been around magicians who argue their authenticity back and forth, left and right. And many of those magicians actually are hardcore historians. So, I mean, they're so hardcore into their history that it does kind of give them a little weight into their opinion. Um, but I kind of place any grimoire in that concept of if you're applying it to your life and your practice and you are yielding the results you want, then everyone else sit down, shut up because it's your path. Do I find them necessarily to be the best path for most people? No, because they are so incomplete, especially for a beginner. Um, they're not really going to help too much. And then there's a lot of things in them that really is just not very practical for modern day. And there's many of the things that they make claims on that full out just do it. It just doesn't. Um, but you also have to understand that the things that it is saying that it does is also kind of encoded and not stated directly. So it's also, do you even know what you're really getting? Because it is kind of interpreted and the translations aren't direct. Because again, it was written for somebody who already knows what it does, not someone who doesn't. Kind of a catch 22 on those. I'm turning my phone off so it don't make noises. But great question. Great question. And Gray, hey, welcome. So glad you could make it to the first live stream. Absolutely. Locals, I need a new tip for the missing click. Violet Star, I need a new tip for the missing click. If you're talking about the whole little link thing, I don't know what happened over there. Like everyone I've had click that link, Violet Star, the link worked. It did. I cannot figure out what happened there. I'm going to so this Wednesday, Violet Star, I will be posting that link probably to this evening or tomorrow, just a heads up kind of thing. Let everybody know it's coming. And then the day of, I'll probably post another link to help you get there. Trying to figure out what else I can do next to just like, if you're in the Gilded community, maybe shoot me a message and I will send you the link directly there. See if that helps. I don't know if it's something on your phone, your browser settings. I am a technological idiot, as we all know. I asked Jade about it some, and she couldn't figure out what would have done it either. Though she did remind me, we think it was you that was having some issue with the what was it? The Zoom links also for the online workshops. So yeah, we're gonna try and figure it out. Actually, Violet Star, if you keep an eye on the Gilded, or not the Gilded, the tell you what I'm gonna do. The locals community over there. Keep an eye on that. I will post a test link this week for you to see if we can figure out what's going on there. Because right now, everybody that's clicking it worked for them. Both to get in and the replay. So I'm trying to figure out what happened there. And I'm a technological idiot, so I apologize because I'm not smart in this stuff. So I'm doing the best I can to troubleshoot it. Hey, better late than never, right? Let's see, GK. I do like the Tuesday ideal. Sounds good. Awesome. Good to hear. Because that would it'd be easy for me to click in, talk about a video topic. It may not be as trimmed and professional, with the opening and the closing and all of that, but I think it would be a good way to do it. I don't know that everyone's going to be able to show up to it because those videos release relatively early in the day. You guys are probably at work. But I do think that doing them live would be worth testing out at least. So we'll definitely give that a try. Hey, Pop Smoking Heathen, mate. It is great to see you. Been a while. Hope you're doing well. Hope the family's good. Vitki, good to see you. Let's see. Rendenny, I'm training arcane hearing and I began to hear sounds mostly in night. I could hear a lighter on my ear and an entity asked me how I was doing when I started talking to the entity. But it seems like it's occasional hearing and I need to control it more. Yeah. So part of the reason using arcane senses at night is easier is you hit this like psychic quiet time. The more people who are being quiet, they're doing less, the activity in the world's lessening because more and more people's falling asleep. The easier, the clearer it is. There's less clutter. It's easier to hear. And some magicians even think that it travels easier because just like normal sound travels easier at night because of the atmospheric difference. I ain't so sure on that one because we're not talking physicalities, but yeah. I'll just pitch it that some people have considered it. No proof to it, but they've considered it. And yeah, when you're opening your senses, it's up to you to control how often they're there or not. Me, I leave mine open 24/7. Does it have its annoyances? Absolutely, it does. Does it also have its benefits? Absolutely. There's a give and take to everything. But if you're wanting that control so that you can pay attention and not that, it takes practice. Just like if you spend time in a loud environment or workplace or something, like all the background noise, you just eventually forget about it and tune it out, but you can still have a conversation. Whereas the new person can't hear the person next to them because of all that background noise. It's the exact same kind of concept that you're going to have to train. Um, Alberto, welcome. Violet Star, thank you. You got new laptop. Yay on the new laptop. But yeah, it can be hard to get those set up sometimes. Like the laptop I'm using right here, I don't usually use for streaming, or no, not this one, the one I used Wednesday. So I realized only during stream that I don't have it framed up the way I like. You got to set everything up every time. It's kind of annoying, I have to admit. Um, When you say the original Dragon Lady, what are you talking about? Is I don't. I mean, as far as working with dragons, I don't particularly know. I've heard of a movie called Dragon Lady, and I want to say someone said something about a manga or an anime, but I've never seen any of them. um, Open a page in Safari. That copy, paste the link. I have to do that with my iPhone for Zoom calls. Okay, so apparently it's an Apple product issue that Immortal has. So give that a try there. Um, uh, Violet Star, see if what Immortal's tip there helps. Said something about opening Safari. Well, I don't even know what Safari is. That must be an Apple product or MacBook thing. Um, is that a browser? Maybe that's a browser. Sounds browsery to me. It's a good name for a browser if it ain't. um, back, but let's see, Gee, I know your video on it was a while back, but what does the triangle in the center of the dragon's eye seal mean? It has a lot of different meanings, Gray, not just a singular one. The first meaning, and probably the one that's most important within dragon magic, is it is the unity and balance and alignment of all things within the multiverse, and including the magician therein practicing. Because if you look at that dragon's eye, um, it's not just like that triangle is literally called a dragon's eye triangle. It's been used in magic for a lot of different reasons, balancing energy, amplifying energies, all these different things. Different traditions historically have given it different meanings. But to the dragons, it represents the foundation and dragon magic as a whole in and of itself. The dead space in there is what's referred to as the foundation. So when you're looking at it without the lines, the foundation of all magic and balance is meditation. That's one of the reasons we released the meditation course first. It's the foundation of everything. Any magician who actually wants a successful practice needs meditation. The next 3 points, the 3 points on that triangle, represent what the dragons refer to as the three arcane pillars. Those pillars being journey work or divinations and evocation and invocation. Those three practices, which you do learn all three in dragon magic at one time or another. And the lines connecting them also show that how each of these pillars is interconnected and overlapping. That is where those outer border comes. And then the inner lines is going to the center, and that center is the balance and the magician. And that magician must stand in that balanced position at all points to truly gain that mastery of dragon magic. That's essentially the symbolic meaning of that triangle. I hope that makes sense. I know it's not an easy thing to explain. See, Tara Drake, do you know of some good activities and exercises that can do to train your arcane hearing? I can memorize music and sounds in detail, but how do I put it to use? Well, there's a few different things. Like what you're doing is like if you memorize it in detail and you can replay it in your head, first off, your arcane hearing's functional. The trick now is you need something external to listen to. This is kind of where the point of exercises only get so far, Tara. You're going to need an entity to communicate with and talk to. You can go to your arcane sanctum and you can actually create external devices to make noises and see if you can hear them, or you can actually invite entities there. Um, Once you've trained and you know how your arcane hearing functions, you know what it's going to sound like when you hear something. Now you need something to hear. And unless you're just waiting around for random sounds, you're going to need to find someone to talk to. That's pretty much where you're at. Loveless. Safari is Apple's browser. Oh, so it is a browser. They chose a good name. What is the purpose of the arcane pillars? They are the core quintessentials of Magick. If a magician actually understands the arcane pillars and truly gains a controlled usability of all three pillars, you'll not need another book again. There's nothing that magician cannot find a solution to if he or she leverages those arcane pillars. You can essentially go as far as you want in Magick. That's what the dragons are trying to teach you, not only how to balance them, but also how to utilize them so that you can push yourself as far as you're willing to go. Because at that point, there's nothing you can't find if you're putting in the time and effort. That's the purpose. They are the cornerstones of Magick. And some people refer to them even as like the cornerstones of Godhood, the cornerstones of ascent. You could look at them that way because ultimately, if you think about it, journey work's going to allow you to travel the planes and do anything that you need to do across the planes, interact with the planes, learn about the planes, learn about yourself, learn mysteries that no one has ever put to pen or paper on this planet. Evocation is going to allow you to speak to any entity that you want to speak with and work with, as long as you put in the time and effort to get to know them, talk to them, and work with them. And they too are also going to help share that information. They can also help you manifest massive changes in your life to put your life on the track you want. To divination, it's all about information and knowledge. You have questions, divination has answers. That little trio of abilities essentially does push a human very close to all knowing, all powerful, all present. Very, very quickly. It really does. They are kind of like the mage's trifecta. But of course, you notice they're all interconnected, and the mage was at the center. The mage needs to have a very functional knowledge of them. The reason I say functional, not mastery, is the dragons have made it very known that mastery is near impossible. No entity actually has full mastery. All entities, even gods and dragons, are still learning and progressing. So if you call human mastery like at this point, then there's still something past here. That's not really mastery. That's just the illusion of mastery. So it's the first thing you're searching for is that working functional reliability. And that's just it. It needs to be a reliable functional skill in your toolbox. And when it's that reliable, you can say, okay, I know how to do this particular pillar. And from that point, you continue to grow it. You continue to make it better. If you find a place you're lacking, you improve it. And you continue to grow your practice that way. These pillars will interchange with any practice that you lay them over, whether it be ceremonial magic, Wicca, all forms of magic, whether they admit it or not, will use these in some form or fashion. So having this skill set as a magician literally allows you to do anything you want within magic as long as you're willing to put in the time, the work, and the effort. There's no way to remove effort and time or discipline. That's also why the magician's at that center point, is because of the discipline, focus, and balance it takes to maintain that. And that's also why meditation was that foundation, because they're built on that. Without that foundation, it all falls apart anyway. I've never seen the Imperial Oracle Dragon deck, I'll be honest with you. A lot of the dragon decks I've encountered, I really don't like them. It breaks my heart, but I just can't jive with them. Um, but that one I've not seen. So if I find it, I may give a look at it. I'll have to see about that. Gabriel's Magic, the manifestation of one's soul. Depends entirely on how you view that. Me personally, I say no. The soul is the essence of who you are. Magic is the manifestation of how you choose to manipulate energy. It doesn't really have anything much to do with the soul because it's just like saying magic's the manifestation of your body, or a hammer's the manifestation of your body, or building a house is that manifestation. The body does the work, but the body can't do it without the building blocks and the components. The magic itself is those building blocks. Yes, your soul, being you, manipulates it and puts it together, but ultimately it no, I would say no. Then you do have those philosophical magicians who will say that it's your soul's will is what manifests, and it shapes the multiverse in magic to manifest it. Magic's the medium. So it's a matter of perspective there. For me, I say no. I've seen nothing to contradict mine, but I also understand the other people's view. And that's one of those where it's like, perhaps it's the one that makes the more sense to the magician. That's the important view, if that makes sense. Thanks, guys. I did not try a different browser. Okay, but let me know if the browser thing works this Wednesday, Violet Star, because it'd be great to have you in there. And I know internet can be a pain in the rear. And we jumped. Crap. One day the entities made a sound as if my phone was ringing on the table, but it was not on the table. It was just ringing, sounded very real. Oh, they'll do that. They will do that. There's a lot of entities that will make phantom sounds, especially when you're developing your senses, because they want to help. They want to give you something to hear. This is actually one of the reasons I do love dragon magic, because your guardian dragon and your co-magician can work with you very directly in these exact things. You have in your corner at all times someone helping you with that. It's really handy. Is key cultivation and the Dentanian system. I was wondering if that's a form of magic. Magic is a very broad term. It is the manipulation of energy in order to manifest a result of some form or fashion. So, based upon this and based on Chinese medicine and how it works with qi and energy flow and all this, there are a lot of people who do view it as a form of magic. Um, and in a lot of ways, see, I'm kind of that guy. I'm on both sides of the fence with Chinese medicine because there's a lot of it that's just really strong herbal medicine and it works. Most of it, not all of it, but a good chunk of it does work. And because of that, I just see it as herbalism personally. But then you got the spiritual side that deals with energy pathways and stuff like that. That's more on the spiritual side, and spiritual stuff and magic get heavily overlapped quickly, especially when you're the one moving the energy. In those cases, I would say on that side of the fence, it would definitely fall into a category of magic. So again, it's one of those where it's not necessarily as clear cut. Is this magic? Is this not magic? Because I mean, take someone from like the Middle Ages and show them a cigarette lighter or a TV. That's witchcraft. Trust me, they'll think that is magic. Do we today view it as magic? Most people know that's just technology. That's science. It's freaking cool, but it's not magic. To them, it would be. So it's a matter of your understandings and your perspective on the actual process that's taking place, if that makes sense. Because a lot of what we know as technology and science derived from magical arts. I mean, a good chunk of modern medicine comes from alchemy and herbalism and these other categories. Oh crap! We don't. Pop Smoking Heathen, thank you for the super chat. Honestly, think one milestone in your magical journey is when you stop being startled by jumping bumps and knocks. Hello. That's actually a pretty good milestone. It really is. I didn't think about it, but I know a lot of students that's had to get there. That's a pretty good one. That might be worth writing down as a milestone. I like that. Oh, by the way, thanks for the super chat, pipe smoking. That's $5. I'll make sure you're in the spell working this week. Everyone, if you want included in the weekly spell working for prosperity, well-being, health, those good things. $5 super chat, with or without a question. And if you just have a question, you want a super chat, make sure I don't miss it. Do a super chat. Flashes up real big. Make sure I see it. It's still got the flash thing here from pipe smoking. Let's see. Vitki, what's the purpose of the wand in dragon magic? The standard tools of a magician, your athame, your wand, these things, they don't really have a purpose in dragon magic. In dragon magic, you have a tool. You do have a tool. It's crafted in a very specific way, and its entire point and purpose is to help balance the energies that's essentially assaulting the magician in the ritual. In fact, this tool is a requirement before you can go into 103. We cover how to make it by the end of 101. And it's not a dedicated product. It's not like you sit down and do a dedication. I got a dragon tool. No, you're going to spend at least 6 months making this tool. And it won't even be finished because at the end of 103, there's going to be add-ons to it that's going to take probably another 6 months. Which means if you ever need to replace it, you better have a good year or two ready to do daily work. When I say 6 months, I don't mean 6 months of little maybe here or there. I mean, it's 6 months straight daily work, and you can maybe miss 3 days total. If you miss more than 3, start all over. Because all work will be lost. But yeah, they are needed. They are needed if you actually want one. It doesn't necessarily have to be a wand. Most people know mine is a staff. Traditionally, many of them are staffs. Wands, I actually chose like a staff for its durability. I don't like things breaking. I know people who like more elegant things. They have those. But the tool itself does have a pretty big importance within dragon magic, and it has to be done right. There's no two ways about it. I've watched many a person get themselves in trouble because they didn't do the tool right or they jumped ahead without it. Oh wow, we jumped. Why are you keep jumping? Oh well. Gabriel, that's generally true, but in dragon magic, your dragon tool does have a very specific purpose, and without it, you can get yourself in trouble. And it's a lot more than just an energy director. Most wands, through ceremonial magic and other things, they do just help guide energy, and they can just be dedicated real easy. The type of tool you use in dragon magic, it's on a different level. Like I said, the very base beginner one takes 6 months to make. And I've had plenty of people who, well, it took them longer than the 6 months. It's 6 months minimum, because if you make any mistakes or anything, you may find yourself going quite longer. Creator just realized my stars back. Yay! Oh, I don't know what the deal is. Some of these stars flash on and off, and it's weird. I don't know. Maybe YouTube was doing an update. I don't know. It's weird. What crap? I saw something. I was trying to read it and it jumped. Rendini, it entirely depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about energetically in magic, it does help to have direct contact for some people, but it does not. I charge most of my crystals with them hovering. If you're talking about using crystals in a medicinal fashion, I'm not going to talk about that here, honestly, because a lot of the crystal medicine stuff I have found that does more harm to people. There's people making claims that are beyond harmful. They're telling people to do things with crystals that is poisonous and toxic. And I really don't support those concepts, because when you start peddling very stupid information and claims and telling people this, don't see a doctor and whatnot, yeah, I got a problem with you. And many of you know why I have a problem with you. Um, these are people who have almost killed me 6 times because I trusted them, and I will never trust them again. So depends on which side of the fence the question's directed at, Rendani, but there's my opinion. I thought for a moment that it was gone forever. Did you already do the energy working for October? I forgot to send my request. Yes. I usually do those within the first 5 days of the month. I am taking the request for supporters for the spell working for November, actually, because yeah, we're already 22nd. Woo, November's like right there, people, ain't it? Man, this year's flying by. It really is. So, but yeah, I'm taking the request for November, creator. So if you can shoot that to me, either over on locals or in Gilded, you can message me. I will make sure to get that to you. If you don't mind it being public, you can also just put it in a comment below a video. A lot of people don't like the request public. I totally respect that. I don't blame you. Or you can email me. Y'all got my email. That's on the website. Moonflower, welcome. I don't love the name. Using instruments such as drumming to facilitate contact with dragons, deities, and entities. In the meditation course, I do talk about sound meditation. Like, does the sound in and of itself contact? No, it doesn't. You can sit there and beat a drum, play a guitar, whatever you want. It's not going to draw them to you, unfortunately. What it will do, however, is facilitate you getting into a state where you can reach out and communicate to them easier. To that, I've had a great deal of success. I'm not a musically inclined person. My dad was. I'm not. My brother is. I'm not. I sing like a dying cat, and I can play a little bit of guitar and bass, but I have to learn the song. I could never learn the chords. It was weird. So I'm not musically talented by any means. So I do use drumming quite a bit. I do use music as in like on my not my, y'all got me thinking I have an iPhone. I don't have an iPhone on my phone or even on my Amazon device. But my go-to, if I'm just doing it myself, is drumming. In fact, in the meditation course, there's a drumming track that I've been using it for years. That honestly, it just came to me one time when working, and for whatever reason, that track is insane at getting you into that rhythm and into that trance state. My students have been using it for years because it just works. It's amazing. And we did make sure to include it in the meditation course. So I have found a lot of uses with sound meditation, whether it be an instrument, whether it be music, whether it be played from a CD, whatever. I've found a lot of different uses. And actually, one of my favorite sounds to meditate to when I get a chance is like nature in and of itself. That's one reason I love doing rituals and stuff when I'm out in nature, because you got all the little critters making their sounds and everything. And actually, during the meditation course, if I remember correctly, I recorded, like, it was so loud one night. I grabbed the recording of it and I included that in the course too, because it was just gorgeous. And it was a way to bring that sound home with me. See, the creator, I prefer staves. I have a bunch of staves. I need to add crystals and charms and wood burnings and engravings, etc. Yeah, when it comes to your dragon tool, you're really only going to have the one. You won't have a bunch of them, but yeah, that's why I went with durable, because I've told you all in the past, I'm hard on things. I break crap often. I have broken oak staves before. I've broken walking sticks they said you can't break. I was sitting there in the woods looking at this walking stick like, And all I had in my head was the image in Aladdin, like, hey, look at this, it won't break. It broke. That's literally what was running through my head as I looked at this thing, slightly pissed off. Um, so I all my utensils usually go very simple, very low key. I don't put pieces on them that can break off, and I go with a very, very durable material. Up until I got this shaft of this is waxwood, which is it has the properties of a good softwood and a hardwood. Um, until I got that shaft, I was actually considering going with just steel. I was thinking about getting me a piece of steel rebar. That's how much faith I have in me breaking something. Yeah, I'm a destructive person with yeah. But that's me. You guys use what you want. Like I said, one person has a oh, I don't know what she calls it, but it's like a bracelet. It has this big like metal cuff here, and she has a friend that does some metal engraving that engraved here, and it comes up, and there's a chain here, a chain here, a chain here, and then there's like a ring here on that finger, and that finger, and it's got little, I don't know, they look like thimbles at the end. She actually made that into her dragon tool. She takes great care of it. She puts it away in this very, protective box and everything. It's gorgeous as flip. I'll admit it's absolutely freaking gorgeous. But I would have that thing broken in a day. I would. Let's see. Are dragon spirits always active like poltergeist? Well, poltergeist activity is an emotional, energetic, telekinetic phenomenon. It's not a spirit. That would be one thing. And that usually manifest around people with some sort of mental or emotional issues, or children going through puberty because emotions are just. So there's usually a child in the house going through puberty when those events happen. As to are they always active? It's like, what do you mean? Like my guardian dragons are always here. It's not like they go anywhere. I mean, they can. They're not forced to stay here, but they hang around and they can cause mischief at any time they want. Most of the other dragons don't stick around, but for a dragon magician, their guardian is usually there or never far. Um, so yeah, I mean, if that's what you mean, then yeah, they're always here, but they're not always. I mean, will you notice them 24/7? That depends on your senses and depends on the dragon and depends on what they do. Like mine have gotten irritated at guests and done things to annoy the piss out of them. Did the guests know that it was the guardian dragon doing it? No, because they don't have their arcane senses trained well enough. But was they able to get the person's attention and bug the piss out of them while they were here? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're wondering, didn't I stop it? No, they deserved it. I just want some regular clients that will buy my intention candles and magical soaps and ask for a tarot or psychic reading. Oh, yeah, I can put that down on the list. No problem, creator. Easy enough. Easy enough. Thank you for letting me know. I'll get that on the list for November. So if Drake endorses a magical tool, we know it's indestructible. It's pretty durable, seriously. Have you guys ever? I mean, almost every one of a review video I do, like even the tents, I talk about how I usually bring up durability because this is an important thing to me. First off, if I pay for something like a tent, I want to make sure it's going to last. If I buy a camping cot, I want to make sure it's going to last. But so I want a reasonable amount of use out of anything I buy, right? It's got to be a reasonable amount of use. But then there's me. I know I'm extremely hard on things. Like I will just throw them around, throw it in a corner, throw it down on the ground, wad it up, toss it in the corner. Like I have a custom trench coat. I love that coat, but I literally have just wadded it in a corner and thrown it. I've wadded it up, used it as a pillow. I specifically like I told them like I don't want a lining in it. I want it made of steer hide. And they're like, well, that's going to be a heavier leather. You really want a softer leather. I was like, no, I don't want a softer leather. I want this heavier leather. I need durability, not fancy pants. Um, so um, that that was a gift to myself for a very specific goal that I reached. And it was also my first trench coat was given to me by an old mentor, so I've always kept one because of those memories I share with him. But it needs to be durable. Like this shirt here, people, most of you probably recognize this. This ain't no fancy shirt. This is a Dickies work shirt. Why? These are designed to be worn on construction sites and put through abuse. They will survive me. And like many of you probably, well, I bought a pair of blue jeans right before the move. I mean, right before the move. I had them maybe 4 to 5 weeks before we moved. Before we got to where we're currently at, the seat ripped down of them. And I didn't even do anything that I would normally say this is, I do a lot of dumb stuff that we put on. Well, this is why you broke it. I didn't do anything to cause it. So that particular brand of jeans, that style, guess what? It's scratched off the Drake list. It will never be purchased again because it's not durable enough to count. And that's just it. Once it's scratched off, it's scratched off. Now, if you ask my opinion about them, were they comfortable? Yes. Did they look good? Oh yeah, they looked sharp. But I'm also going to chime in. I didn't find them very durable. So, you got to find your durability marker. But yeah, durability is an important thing in my life. I like to live minimalist. I like to make sure things last. And I know that's weird in a culture where everything seems disposable. Because everybody has this very disposable mentality. I don't do that. I do not do that. Love trench. Creator. Yes, exactly. I can imagine an ad saying this is Instructable One made by Working Dragon Mystic. If you buy it now, you will get your first course. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh Lord, that's hilarious. Actually, I have a wand that I used. I still have it. I love it. I actually fell in love with it. I don't know what the deal is with this wand, to be honest with you, because I just bought like a crafting dowel. I was doing a wand making class workshop at an event I was going to. They asked me to do this workshop. I was sure. And one of the things I wanted to really point out and drive home during this workshop was you don't have to get fancy. So many people try to get so super fancy. So I quickly grabbed a dowel on my way out to the event and I cut that dowel in half and I used it to craft a wand while I walked through the workshop. And that wand, I fell in love with it. I really did. You guys have seen it a time or two on this channel. Actually, it's that whitish, just natural wood color with the blackened tips and the band around it. I actually thought that wand would break really quick. I did not think it would last. I don't know why it's lasted. I don't know how it's lasted. Usually dowels break so easily, but I have come to love that little wand. I really have. And I will be sad the day it breaks. Hey, squirrel, glad you could make it. Mugs up. I have clothes still in good condition from 20 years ago. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Honestly, I can't say that too often. I have a few, maybe. But one of the reasons I can't say it too often is I have like 5 shirts, 3 pairs of pants, the rest is socks and underwear, and hats. So I literally, like, my closet is minimalist. So, and I love it that way because when we pack to move, I literally put my entire wardrobe into one bag, put it in the car, and I'm like, ready to go. I'm good. I'm a very minimal kind of guy. I actually, with shoes, I keep usually 2, maybe 3 pairs of shoes max. And the third pair is actually, so I have a pair of boots. I have a pair of what is, I can use as dress shoe or just day wear or whatnot. And then I have my yard shoes. And the yard shoes is actually got downgraded from one of these. So, so my yard shoes get tossed away. And then if whatever one of these I had to buy, that one now becomes my yard shoe. That's my method. I don't know that I'm allowed to share the entire full process of that here. The dragons have not given me that permission. They so far the only place they've allowed me to share in detail the process is in the course, and there is a lot that goes into it. Um, it is yeah, you're going to have to finish the entire 101 path working before you have all the bells and whistles that you're going to need to utilize that daily ritual for 6 months. Um, it's a lot. It is. It is a lot. Most people who take Dragon Magic 101, even people who's done magic for 20, 30, 50 years, that ends up being one of the first rituals of that size, that caliber, and that extent that they've done. Most people's not used to doing rituals that are that intense, that can't skip a day, can't miss a day, and utilizing that much energy every freaking day. It is a lot. There's no doubt. I may have wait. I may have accidentally landed a third cat. I thought it was my friend's missing tuxedo cat, but I was wrong. Deaf, not a normal stray. So, oh, ladies, y'all need to stop picking animals up. I've told my wife stop picking them up. I'm not taking care of them, and if you don't take care of them, I'm going to take them to the shelter when you bring them home. So, yeah, it's just no. Yeah, check for a microchip. Lord help me. Uh, I've seen a lot of like. There's times I've thought about it increasing strength, but then there's also times I've seen the energy actually weaken the structure of them. So I think it's kind of a almost roulette like thing potentially, which is a little weird. How could I not? It's pretty easy actually. It really is. I got enough to do. I ain't got time for animals or critters, and yeah, it wouldn't be fair to the animal for me to keep it and not have time for it. It's pretty easy. It's really easy. So, I just want to know: is it necessary for a successful practice working with dragons? Um, Not in the beginner levels. Not in the beginner levels. Um, it's not a necessity in those beginner levels. Is it very, very, very helpful? Yes. Is it necessary? No. However, once you get past the beginner, it becomes a necessity. Because without it, those energies can, even with the best of intent, rip your life apart. Thoughts on gambling magic? I enjoy gambling magic. I've used gambling magic. I like gambling magic. Um, though at the same time, like I also am kind of a gambler and I like to rely on myself more often than not. But at the same time, there are certain times in my life where it's fun. I've used a lot of gambling magic, especially in testing different things throughout my life. Um, I've got a lot of clients who have asked me for different gambling charms and whatnots, and I'm really good at doing them actually. So there's also those. Do you use scrying to cheat the casino? No, because I don't cheat. That would be the first thing. I actually despise cheaters. So if you're going to cheat, don't tell me about it. Period. Again, you remember I said I'm a gambler. There is an art form to gambling. There is a skill set to gambling. Um, and those skills can actually help a person not just at the table, but also in life. And cheaters are cheaters. I don't view a difference in a cheater and someone who breaks and steals. There's no two differences. because on one hand, you stole money. On the other hand, you stole money. So in those cases, yeah. The only time I would actually condone something like that is if you're cheating on a cheater. That's it. And casinos aren't cheating. They're a business that's running a very systematic thing. Is the odds in favor of the house? Yes, but you know that walking in, so you can't say they're cheating because they don't even hide it. But yes, I have used scrying. Actually, one of my mentors has used scrying. Again, they used it on a cheater. So yeah, depending. Sorry if that hurts anybody's feelings, but yeah, I hate cheaters. I despise them. And if I catch them at casinos, I will out them in a heartbeat. Actually, that's my favorite thing to do when I go to a casino. I hope to catch some this winter. Do you need it for working with the first 4 rulers? No. Nope. No, because you should have a guardian first. So the way Dragon Magic works is you got to find a guardian before you ever get to the rulers. You're going to have to find that guardian first. You're going to have to build a bond with that guardian, a good, strong, solid bond. Then you move to the co-match. You cannot get a co-match. It like literally the draconic rules disallow it. Then you're going to have to find the co-match. Once you find a co-match, you've got to build that relationship, and you got to build it well. At that point, and only at that point, can you begin, and I do mean just begin, to begin working with the first 4 rulers. Let's see. Let's see. I got this story about my mom who used to go to horse races with her ex-husband, and she would always know which horse to win, but she wouldn't tell anybody until after. That's pretty good. Let's see. Turned out to be right every single time, and her husband and her friends asked her why she never put any money on it. And her belief was that it wasn't to be used for money unless it was dire necessity. There's a lot of people who have that belief. There really is. There really is. I will use magic for money. Not necessarily gambling, because again, I enjoy the skill set. And like I play poker and other things. I don't do like roulette machines. Roulette machines that's not a skill. That's yanking on a pole, which I guess that could be a skill depending on how you took that. But horse racing, would I use divinations for? I would probably use divinations for horse racing. I ain't got an issue with that too much. But yeah, I use magic all the time to build my prosperity and my wealth and things, and I've used it to help grow this channel so more people can find it. Those kinds of things. I never use it to force people to the channel. I always want to just get out there and find it, because I want a community that finds the channel and is like, hey, who's this redneck wizard? Crazy Midge said, what? Hey, I like this channel. And they stay because they actually like it. If you don't like it, I don't want you to stay. And I don't mean that to be harsh. It's just, I want the community to be people who actually enjoy the channel so I can be authentically me. I don't want to be someone I'm not just so you all stay and watch the content. If that's why you're watching the content, I'm in the wrong business. You know what I mean? But yeah. And I can respect people who have that belief. I mean, I got no issues with it. Let's see. GK. I tend to work better with step-by-step instructions. Does Dragon Magic 101 teach this way? Yeah, Dragon Magic 101 is built in a step-by-step process. It's like, okay, we go through a section, we give you homework. We go through a section, we give you homework. You go through a section, you're given homework. It is literally built in a progression that builds upon itself. That was the entire point. Dragon Magic 101, 102 are all built in that step-by-step progression. In fact, now think about it, all my courses are built in that step-by-step progression, because that's how I teach. Like, even though like so many things can overlap and circulate, there is a progression that builds upon it. Like even the evocation course I'm working on right now, we build on it step by step through each individual level of evocation that we're talking about. We build on the different skill sets, and we give you homework based around each skill set. We give you actual goals to achieve before you move on. Do we have people who try to blitz through and to the end? Yeah. Do they trip, fall on their face, and then complain? Yeah. Do I complain? Do I mind that they complain? No. Do I tell them they jumped ahead and it's their fault? Yes. Do they get mad at me? Most of the time. But then anyone who's watched this channel knows long enough, I don't have a filter. I don't really have patience or compassion for you complaining about something you've done that was dumb. Like, I've done a lot of dumb stuff in my life. I have done a lot of dumb stuff. By the way, GK, thank you for the super chat before I forget. I have done a lot of dumb stuff. What I don't do when I do something stupid is blame the guy next to me or blame that person or blame this person. I blame the idiot that did it. And that idiot's me. Heck, right now, my foot is actually hurting. Why? Because I broke my foot. I never went to the doctor. I wasn't sure it was broke. I was like, it's probably just bruised. I can walk. And Halloween herself's like, Dad, your pain tolerance is really high. That could be cracked or broken. You should go see a doctor just to be sure. If it gets too bad, I'll go. I never went. You can ask her. I never went. Now it gets cold. This thing knots up. It hurts. Is that the doctor's fault? No. Is it Halloween's fault? No. Is it my wife's fault? No. Is it Drake's stupid fault? Yep. 100% me. Absolutely. All me. And I own it. So, you know, if you want a guy with a filter, I'm not your guy. If you want a guy who goes on what I've been told are comical Southern rants, but is blunt and unfiltered, I'm your redneck. I would be your redneck wizard. And Halloween is throwing clocks at me. And GK, also, do you have any requests? Because I'm going to put you in on, well, no, weekly spell working don't have requests. So I'm going to make sure you're in on that weekly spell working for well-being and prosperity, mate, because that's a $5 super chat with that question. Like I said, with or without question, you're included. So appreciate it all the same. Oh my God. And is the meditation course a prerequisite for Dragon Magic 101? Technically, we did not list it as a prerequisite because meditation is something that a lot of people have done in one form or another. If you do not have a basic meditation practice, let's say where you can get into a basic trance or meditate for, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes, I would recommend it. But it's not a prerequisite because we also talk about meditation to a minor degree enough to get you started. Dragon Magic 101 was meant to be a self-contained beginner course. It has everything you need in it to get going. Now, if you want to take your meditation to the next level and continue building, I would recommend it. But it's not a necessity for Dragon Magic 102. Does that make sense, GK? Good question, though. Good question. It's because you keep breaking stuff and not going to the darned doctor. I admit that. I do a lot of things. Like, look at this. I stitched that one up myself. I stitched that one up myself. I attempted to stitch that one up myself. This one back here, we duct taped. And, well, the others I can't show you because this is a family show. But hey, it's me. Like, there's a few people who's actually noticed, like, when I rest my hand, like, it curls. They're like, my hand actually, it has a curl to it because it's been broken so many times. The doctors are amazed I'm able to walk with my medical records. But hey. Warrior thumbs, neat thumbs. Is Jade here for clocks? No, Jade is got some stuff she's got to do today. She told me she would miss. So it's not unsurprising that Squirrel was throwing clocks at me. Behind the king after winning a battle and whispers in his ear, I need someone like that. Oh, Lord. Let's see. Halloween, cool. All right, everyone, we're going to get ready to wrap up. Oh, look, Jade snuck in here just to throw clocks, people. Just to throw clocks. You gotta love her. You gotta love her. Is she busy with family? Yes. Does she have madness going on and she probably ain't got time to breathe? Yes. Is she still going to come in here just to throw clocks at us? Yes. We love you, Jade. Now I got Jade and Squirrel throwing clocks at me. What the hell? Love it though. Love it. Gotta love this community. All right, everyone, I'm going to hop off, get going. I got a busy week ahead of me. I will see the supporters on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. No, that's not right. Yes, that's right. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will put the link in the if you're on Patreon, you'll see it there. If you're YouTube member, you'll see it there. And if you're in locals, you'll see it there. I will say, if you're on Patreon and YouTube, just seriously heads up, they've been deleting some of my stuff, and that's pissing me off. So if you're supporting me on one of those platforms, I understand people have their preferences. I get that. And if that's your preference, I'm going to do everything I can to leave them there. But locals right now is the only person not deleting some of my stuff. So if you want to make sure you get it, consider, meditate, think about migrating over to the locals one, because it's getting annoying. It's getting annoying. And I will see you all. And we are working very hard to get to that 50 supporter number. If we get to that 50 supporter number, Working Dragon Mystic will be unplugged from the need of ad revenue monetization stuff, and we can be able to do a lot more things where we don't have to worry about ads and crap. So help us reach that. Share it, share our content, share our information, let your friends know about the community. If you're not a supporter, consider supporting us. Also, as always, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, turn on notifications. We release a video on Tuesdays, and we're also live on Sundays here on YouTube. And we do have a Rumble now. Consider checking us out over there too. All right. I think that's all the talky bits I'm supposed to do. I'm not good at it. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. And until next time, everyone, take care. Good night.